Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a case where two officers teamed up to try and violate an innocent man's rights by fishing for reasons to arrest him when he was simply on a lunch break. On October 21, 2022, a man named Orlando Escoto was quietly spending his lunch break in his car, parked on a residential street, when Officer Thibault of the Hardyville Police Department stopped behind his vehicle and approached his window. Note that Mr. Escoto was doing absolutely nothing suspicious or illegal, which left him rather confused as to why he was being approached by an officer. This interaction was recorded by Mr. Escoto's smartphone camera.
What's going on, man?
Nothing.
You know the people that own this property?
I don't answer questions.
Huh?
I don't answer questions.
You don't answer questions?
No, sir.
All right, I'm Officer T with the Hardyville Police Department.
Nice to meet you.
I just want to let you know I'm out with you, okay? It's just because you're in this property.
Okay.
Okay. Just checking to see if you know the people that own this place.
Okay.
We've had people drive through the yard and cause some damage.
I understand.
That's it. So if you don't know them and you're not supposed to be here, then you need to leave the property, okay? Is that fair?
I don't answer questions.
You don't answer questions?
No,
I'll tell you
sir.
what, you got your driver's license on you?
For what, sir?
Because I'm getting out with you because you're on property that doesn't belong to you.
How do you know this, sir?
Because you won't answer my questions, so now I want to identify you to find out.
Can I talk to your supervisor?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, that's perfect.
My heart always starts beating every time I talk to a cop. I don't know why.
Don't listen, man.
Huh?
It ain't got to be like that.
No, I'm saying every time I talk to...
You don't have to, though. You know what I mean? Just chill. Just conversation.
I understand. I understand that, but, you know, with what's going on nowadays, cops fish a lot.
Not here.
So, you know,
I
like to make sure.
You're on property that you don't own. Okay.
You don't know that, sir.
I do know that you don't own this property.
Okay.
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 So you're on property that you don't own. Now, if you have permission to be here, that's fine. But you won't identify yourself, so I don't know that you got permission to be here or not.
Okay.
Okay. So it's no big deal. He'll be here in a minute.
Thank you. Am I being detained?
You're being detained, yes.
Okay. For what crime?
Because you wanted to talk to my supervisor. I'm out.
I'm being detained because I want to speak to your supervisor?
I'm trying to find out why you're on this property, okay?
Okay.
Right off the bat, there appear to be grounds to consider this a case of unlawful detainment, since Officer Thibault did not provide Mr. Escoto with a legitimate justification for the stop. While it is true that trespassing is illegal in North Carolina, it certainly didn't apply in this case. Statute 14-159.12 specifies a person commits the offense of first-degree trespass if, without authorization, he enters or remains on premises of another so enclosed or secured as to demonstrate clearly an intent to keep out intruders. Bearing this statute in mind, it seems clear that Mr. Escoto has not violated any laws. Parking on a neighborhood street is typically permitted, as these streets are considered public places where individuals have the right to be.
So he's on property that he doesn't own. I go to get out with him, he pulls through the yard to come out here. So then I drive around, block him off. He immediately doesn't want to identify himself, doesn't want to tell me why he's here. So now he only wants to speak to a supervisor. So that would be you because I don't have a supervisor.
Yeah. What's up? I don't know. I was at the little part right of the concrete. He pulled behind me. I saw he was reading my... He was...
The concrete right here?
Right here where the little shadow is.
Yeah.
I was there and he pulled behind me, started checking my plates.
Yeah.
So he's...
Do you live here?
When I don't answer questions. When
so that's what I got.
So when I was
I believe you were difficult the last time we talked to you at the park.
I didn't. Did I speak with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is obviously because you were on lunch break, correct? Are you on lunch break today?
I don't answer questions.
You don't answer questions.
No,
okay.
sir.
So you're driving in this state though, and you're on property that is not yours. You understand that, right?
I don't answer questions, sir.
Do you understand that?
I don't answer questions.
Okay.
That's a question. I don't answer questions.
So listen, man, you're making this more difficult than it needs to be. You understand that, right?
I don't answer questions.
You understand what I'm saying?
I don't answer questions.
So this is what I got.
You do realize that, like, you acting like this is not helping the situation.
I understand. I'll answer that question. I understand that.
You understand that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what is the reason for being difficult? Please tell me.
I don't answer questions, but let me ask you a question. Am I being detained right now?
What's that?
Am I being detained right now?
Yes, you are.
For what reason, sir?
For what reason?
Yes.
For you're on private property that is not yours.
How do you know this?
What's that?
How do you know this?
This vehicle does not return to here. You will not provide any information that say this property is yours. We patrol this area every single day. Okay?
Okay.
All right. And your car has never been here. And you don't live in that trailer. You understand the police department is a block down the street, right?
I'll answer that question.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so if you can tell me that you're here visiting a friend and we can verify that, we'll be out of here.
I don't answer questions, sir.
But
so if
that's
I
not
answer
answering
none
the
of your
question.
questions, what's gonna happen to me at this point?
What do you mean?
What's gonna happen? Because I'm missing my lunch break because he told me that I was being detained. After I was being detained, I told him I'll speak to a supervisor.
Yeah.
So
are you going to speak with me, or are you going to play these games? Because I'm all with being a grown adult in this situation, okay?
Something important to note at this point is Mr. Escoto's smart decision to plead the fifth whenever needed. The term plead the fifth or take the fifth is actually a very crucial element when it comes to the constitutional rights granted to members of the public. To be specific, the Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution guarantees that an individual cannot be compelled by the government to provide incriminating information about themselves, the so-called right to remain silent. When an individual takes the fifth, they invoke that right and refuse to answer questions or provide information that might incriminate them. Also, to emphasize how effective this is, when an individual takes the fifth, their silence or refusal to answer questions cannot be used against them in a criminal case. A prosecutor cannot argue to the jury that the defendant's silence implies guilt, and prosecutors typically cannot even call a witness before the grand jury if the prosecutor knows the witness will invoke the Fifth Amendment. Clearly, Officer James's conduct has escalated to the point of employing demeaning tactics by effectively insinuating that Mr. Escoto is behaving childishly to assert his constitutional rights. This characterization is not only inappropriate, but undermines the gravity and importance of the rights given in the Constitution.
And I understand your rights and all that, okay? All right?
Am I required to answer your questions?
You are at this point because he is out with you, okay?
So
as a suspicious vehicle on private property.
Okay.
So at this point, okay, all we need is reasonable suspicion. You understand that, correct?
Suspicion
I don't need
of what?
What's that?
Suspicion of what?
That any type of criminal activity may be afoot.
Like what,
all right,
sir?
Being able to invest until our investigation or our suspicion is dispelled, we can ask you questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I have to answer them?
What's that?
Do I have to answer your questions?
You have the right to remain silent in anything you want.
Then I'll remain silent, sir. Until you're done with your investigation,
However, what you're leading us to, and this is completely unnecessary. Okay.
So if I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm supposed to prove to you that I'm not doing nothing wrong? Is that how it works? I'm asking a question to you that you're a supervisor.
Okay. So, yeah. All right. So let me explain it to you one more time. Okay. You're on property that does not belong to you. Correct. Yes. Because you don't answer questions. But that is correct. 100% truth at this point. An officer sees that you're here, goes out with your vehicle, and sees that the vehicle is occupied by one individual, which is you.
Yes.
That's truth. Okay? So from that point, what are you doing here, sir? Do you live here? No,
I don't answer questions.
Okay.
And that's what I told him.
So do you understand what our job is?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Investigate away.
If you're not where you're supposed to be, go knock on their door.
He would tell me. Now, let's say this.
Listen,
if I would have answered all your questions,
we would be done.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So what's the
you're
difference?
making this more
difficult.
difficult.
What's the difference? If I would answer your question.
Because listen. A reasonable person would answer those questions.
Okay.
Okay? And they would understand that when a law enforcement officer stops you in a vehicle, that you're required to identify yourself at that point.
Okay, I'll make sure with the chief if that's correct, because that's why I'm recording this.
That's because fine. We're recording too.
Then I'll take it up a little higher and find out if if everything that you guys have done from the moment that I started recording was correct. We'll find out, because I know I'm not doing nothing wrong.
You're absolutely doing something wrong by not identifying yourself at this point.
Have I committed a crime?
What's that?
Have I committed a crime?
Have you committed a crime?
Yes.
As far as what?
Once again, under the Fifth Amendment, Mr. Escoto is entitled to refuse self-identification, particularly as he has not been implicated in any criminal activity. When questioned again about the specific crime that justifies Mr. Escoto's detention, the officer failed to provide a clear response. Instead, the officer redirects the query back at Mr. Escoto, which appears to be a deliberate strategy to stall for time. This could be an attempt to elicit further information from Mr. Escoto that might eventually justify a lawful detainment based on reasonable suspicion, a thin line from probable cause that the officers will likely exploit. State Statute NCGS Section 15A-401B1 outlines that an officer may arrest an individual without a warrant if they have probable cause to believe that the person has committed a criminal offense within the officer's direct observation. However, in this instance, such probable cause has not been established or articulated.
Trespassing?
Trespassing.
Yes, you have.
So the law for trespassing, don't I have to be told to leave in order for me to be trespassed?
What's that?
Don't I have to be told to leave a place in order to be trespassed?
You could be, yes. All right, but if it's posted, no. Or if the resident calls and says there's somebody here and I don't want him here,
did someone
we can
call?
come make contact with you.
Did someone call?
And identify you. No one called.
Okay.
Again, I don't understand why you're making this more difficult than it needs to be.
I have my reasons, but I'm not gonna do.
Well, you did this last time too.
I'm not
at the park.
I'm not gonna divulge
So it's not.
that.
It's not something new with you.
What did I do last time at the park?
The same exact same thing with this officer.
And what happened?
What's that?
What happened that time?
You ended up identifying yourself once I spoke to you.
I did not.
Yes,
Yes, you did.
I didn't show anything. Did I?
Yes.
Yeah.
You identified yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that's why.
So
like.
okay.
So
in
again,
that time,
if you have an issue with the way things are being handled, I have no problem with talking to you.
And I do, and that's why I'm recording this, because I have my reasons. Now I'm gonna let you do your job. I'm not stopping you from doing that.
No.
Is that true?
What you're doing right
because,
now?
Because look,
listen,
don't I have the right to remain silent?
You always have the right to remain silent.
If you haven't told me I committed a crime.
Do you have a driver's license?
I don't answer questions.
Okay, so see, here we go. So you expect us to let you drive off?
What have I done wrong?
I've already told you that.
What?
You're on property that does not belong to you.
How
correct?
do you know that?
What's that?
How do you know that?
Because I know you do not live here.
Who told you this information?
What's that?
Who told you this information?
That's from knowing the community. The
Okay.
street that we drive down hundreds of times every single day.
Okay.
Okay?
So you know everyone
again,
that lives
listen.
here. No, I'm asking a question. You know
Go ahead.
everyone that lives here. You know all their friends. You know everybody. You know everybody that's doing business here. You know everybody that works here. Is that correct? And I don't.
No, that's not correct.
And I don't belong. Just the way I look there, I don't belong there, right?
People don't park right there on somebody's front lawn that don't live here. You understand that, right?
I don't answer questions, sir.
So
you keep asking questions that I don't want to answer. So
it's just a
don't
simple
I
question.
have the right to not answer the questions I don't want to answer?
You cannot answer whatever
so
you
I
want.
remain silent. So whatever question you ask, I'll plead the fifth. I'll stay quiet.
Okay.
And I'll let you do what you gotta do. Like I said, I know I'm not doing nothing wrong. I know I'm not doing nothing wrong.
No one's even saying you're doing anything wrong.
So why am I being detained? Why is he asking for my license when nobody has called? Nobody has told me to leave. My car wasn't off. Or was it off?
You started driving.
I'm asking, was my car?
I don't know.
You don't answer questions either?
I said I don't know.
I'm sorry, just playing. Sorry.
Right, look,
I get nervous.
I'm done with you.
Okay, go ahead. Do what
Are you
gotta
gonna
do.
identify yourself or not?
What's gonna happen if I don't show any identification?
Well, I can't let you leave because I don't know if you have a driver's license.
Then I'll
Does that
stay
make
here.
sense?
Do you want me to turn off the car? I'll turn it off. Keys on board.
There are a few critical points to consider regarding the encounter between Mr. Escoto and Officer Thibault. Firstly, the absence of any formal complaints about Mr. Escoto's presence suggests that Officer Thibault's approach and questioning is a textbook case of police fishing for a crime to arrest an innocent person. The interaction raises serious concerns about racial profiling, a practice where law enforcement personnel target individuals based on their race, ethnicity, religion, or national origin. The fact that the officer suspected Mr. Escoto, who is not Caucasian, merely for being parked in the neighborhood is rather problematic and might suggest a tinge of racism, though it wouldn't be wise to come to such a conclusion at this point. But regardless, Officer Thibault's insistence on Mr. Escoto producing his driver's license without any legal violation presents a potential abuse of power without a doubt. Legally, a citizen is not required to present identification without just cause or lawful order, which was not evident in this situation. This type of conduct by the officer falls under police misconduct, which is a broad term that encompasses illegal or inappropriate actions taken by police officers, including racial profiling. It's also worth noting that instances of police misconduct can prompt investigations by internal affairs or external oversight agencies. In some cases, when an officer is found to have violated department policies or laws, they may face sanctions ranging from suspension without pay to criminal prosecution, depending on the severity of the misconduct. We've seen this occur countless times as covered on Audit Archive.
Because sir, I haven't been told to leave. I was in the little.
Listen.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
As far as you haven't been told to leave, and that you were just parked here.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Last time I spoke to your chief, he told me that nobody should have kicked me out of that place. That I was in a public place. I was kicked out of it.
Okay.
So my thing is this: who took you saying just because of your knowledge of the people that live here? Now, where's the sign that I said that I can't park there to turn around to do anything?
Listen.
Now, I was gonna finish, but I'll let you.
I understand where you're going with this, all right? And you have a valid point, okay? As far as, are there no trespassing signs posted on the property? I don't see any, okay? So I'll agree with you on
what
that.
if I was looking for land?
Listen.
What if I'm looking for information to buy?
Then let me ask you this.
Which I am, by the way. But go ahead.
Let me ask you this, okay? Just, again, we can play this game all day.
I'm not playing no games, sir. This is my life. I have to be sure of what I...
Are you going to let me talk, or are you going to continue? All right? However, most people, when they come into contact with law enforcement, all right, will state, hey, what are you doing here? You're on private property. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I will be leaving. Okay? You understand that? Or they'll say, oh, well, I'm checking out this land because I'm interested in buying it and I saw it's for sale.
I'm playing the fifth every time you ask a question. So if I stay quiet, I don't want you to think it's... No,
you're really not worth my time. I'm going to be honest with you. Okay? Because
I feel sorry for that, bro.
I mean, you're really not. Okay?
In his own words, Officer James stated that Mr. Escoto was not worth his time. This was a watered down and alternate way to say that I'm not achieving my aim of finding a reason to arrest you, so please make it worthwhile and possible for me. Unfortunately for the officer, Mr. Escoto was well aware of his rights and certainly adamant that he had done absolutely nothing wrong.
You need to leave.
I'm trying to leave. As soon as your cop pulled behind me, I tried to leave. He didn't even have to say anything.
Listen.
As soon as he pulled behind me, I knew that it was going to be a problem, that I was parked there, that because he said I was parked. So I tried leaving.
If you knew
I wasn't going to go.
If you knew you were doing nothing wrong.
Let me finish. I wasn't going to go back because he was blocking my path.
Gotcha.
At that point, what am I going to do? There's another exit. So nowhere says you can't drive through there to here.
You said you wanted to talk to me.
Because your officer is detaining me.
Yes, and I explained to you why, right?
And am I free to go?
Reasonable suspicion.
Am I free to go?
It would help. Now listen.
Answer my question and then you can go. Am I free to go?
You haven't answered a single one of my questions to dispel our myth
because
that there's any type of criminal
I don't have
activity
to. If I call a lawyer right now, stay quiet. Don't say nothing. Yeah. So why am I going to go?
Let me ask you this.
Let me
Maybe
finish.
you could answer this
but
one
let me finish.
without incriminating
Let me
yourself.
finish. So why am I going to go against the advice my lawyer tells me when I'm talking to an officer? My job is, my thing is to let you do what you need to do. I'm letting you. I don't want to speak to you. I didn't want to speak to him. Then he says, oh, you want to go there? Give me your ID. So at that point, when I asked him, am I being detained? He said, yes.
Yes.
So now I want to speak to you, that you're his supervisor, correct?
Correct. And then
so
you understand, I said the same thing, correct?
If you don't tell me I'm free to go, and if I'm being detained, tell me why, and if not, and after that, I'll talk to your supervisor.
I told you why you're being detained.
And now you
expect me to let you drive off without verifying that you have a good driver's license.
I don't expect you to do nothing, sir.
That's what you're asking us to do.
But your job.
Yeah.
By now, it's clear that neither of the officers had any good intentions whatsoever. What's more ridiculous is how Officer James continues to engage in an argument with Mr. Escoto while knowing that it won't lead to a logical outcome. Let's not forget that he just said that this ordeal wasn't worth his time. It begs the question, why is he still standing there trying to argue? Plus, he's now prolonging the alleged traffic stop beyond what's necessary, and this is yet another violation of Mr. Escoto's rights. Under the 2022 case of People v. Aon, the Court of Appeal held that the police had unlawfully prolonged a traffic stop by detaining the defendant longer than what was reasonably necessary to investigate the traffic violations that justified the initial stop. The court found that the police failed to diligently pursue their investigation of the traffic infractions, and instead prolonged the stop to allow time for a narcotics dog to arrive and sniff the vehicle, which resulted in an unlawful search. This ruling can be applied here, since Officer James is similarly prolonging the traffic stop of Mr. Escoto by arguing with him instead of diligently pursuing the purported traffic investigation, which was bogus anyway.
Okay.
So
if I don't show you my license, what's gonna happen? You're gonna keep me here all day?
No.
Am I gonna miss work?
No, I'm gonna tell you not to drive.
Okay, so I'm not gonna be able to drive? Right now? You're gonna stop me from driving?
What's that?
You're gonna stop me from driving?
You can make your own decisions.
So can he move his car so I can?
Or what?
He's got a customer number.
What's his name?
Mr. Contreras.
Contreras? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So, like again, am I free to go? Well, not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
What are you waiting for right now so you can let me go?
To make sure the vehicle's clear and...
Okay. I'll be waiting for that. Can I get out? Because it's hot and the sun is... as long as you're detaining me, I'd rather not stay in the car. I'm going to close the window because... second time I'm being stopped. Missed my lunch for Mr. Tebow here. So the second time I'm going to play more by my rights. Last time I gave my rights away, not this time. Would you agree with that, sir? Or you're not listening? Not listening.
All right, so here's where we're at. Okay, again, you're not worth any type of lawsuit, use of force event, anything like that. All right, so if you don't
are you gonna threaten me with that?
Are you gonna listen to me?
I'm trying to.
Okay,
without you threatening me, and then I get hyped.
If you don't have a driver's license, which you know for fact, yes or no, okay, then I would not drive. That's my advice to you. Take it, leave it, okay? Because when we stop you on a traffic stop, if that happens, you are required to identify yourself, okay? You understand that, correct?
I don't answer questions, sir.
Okay,
I told
of
you
course
any
not.
questions you
Anyways,
ask,
you
let me
can
finish.
Listen.
Let me finish my answer.
No, let me finish.
Okay, I'll let you finish.
Since we can't make contact with that homeowner right now to verify that you're allowed to be here, all right? You can sit here until they get home. Sit here.
So can I leave? Am I free to go?
You're free to go.
Can he move his car? Because he's blocking my way.
He's moving.
Thank you. Can I have an incident number for this, please?
Yeah, you want it?
Yes, please. I'm asking
Central
for it.
514. Hey, the event number.
And can I get the name of your supervisor, please?
Lieutenant Jenkins.
Thank you so much.
Event number, please.
Can I get your card? Can I get your card, please?
22 Hotel 12758. No, I don't have a card.
Does anybody here have a card?
If you'd like it written down, I could write it down for you.
Does it? Yes, I want that, but also I'm asking, does anybody here have cards, personal cards, that you're supposed to give to people? I'm just asking. I don't know. I'm ignorant to when it comes to that. That's what I'm asking.
Well, you seem to know everything else.
Oh.
So
thank you, bro. I'm Catholic. I study a lot, you know.
Well, you obviously don't. Okay.
So where am I wrong?
What's that?
Teach me. Where am I wrong?
Because let me tell you where you're wrong.
That I'm keeping you here?
If officers have reasonable suspicion, all right, that criminal activity may be afoot, such as trespassing is a property crime. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You are required to identify yourself. You understand that, right?
I don't answer questions.
Of course not. But consider this your education session, okay? Because the next time it's not going to end up like this.
Not a good one, bro. You showed more attitude than everything. Can you write down the incident number, please?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your professionalism. Now I feel like Mr. Tebow, he knows me already. He remember my car. He even knows. They even told me where I live. So I feel like they have it against me now, because he even threatened me if we stop you somewhere else. That means they're gonna be looking for me.
By now, Mr. Escoto is expectedly threatened and concerned about potential future targeting by law enforcement. It's not uncommon for people to be left paranoid after such encounters. Moving on though, Mr. Escoto was officially released from detainment and wanted to continue confronting Officer James.
Y'all weren't worth my time giving y'all my license. That's why I didn't show you, because you guys are fishing. That's what he was doing.
No, it's called. We have a lot of crime in Hardyville. I know you live in Bluffton.
So park.
We have a lot of crime here.
So park right there. What's the crime about park right there without you knowing me? No, without. Nobody has called you. Nobody. I was still in my car. Listen, let me finish.
I know where you're going.
I had just pulled in here to turn back to work because I was gonna go Bluffton and come back. As soon as he pulled over, I was replying back to a message, and he pulls behind me. It wasn't not even 5 minutes, bro. Not even 5 minutes, and he gets behind me. So my question is this: how do you know a crime is afoot when I haven't even left my car? He didn't even look, nothing. He didn't even see if I was. Okay. So, like I said, okay. I respect your job. I respect it. I respect your job.
Completely like cool with you as you're being with me right now.
And I know it sucks. It sucks coming across with people that won't show something, because last time, like you said, I ID myself, right?
Yeah.
What crime was I committed that time? Who called? I even asked him, who called me in? Then let me finish. Then I went to the city council. Of this place. They told me I should have not been kicked out. That it was the first time someone was kicked out. I don't know why they told me that. That could have been wrong, right? I agree that. But let me finish. Then I went with your chief. Mm-hmm. Your chief told me that he should have not kicked me out. Yeah. So I'm getting mixed signals here, bro. So, and I respect y'all, but I know that if I'm not committing a crime, which I know I'm not gonna show ID, and that was it.
If you just pulled in, that's one thing. But if you're sitting here on private property, you can't say that those people said you could be there. All right, we're gonna get out with you and make sure everything's okay, and ask you, what are you doing here? You know what I'm saying? Because we have a job to do. We're not just reactive.
Now, if somebody hasn't
now, most people. Let me finish.
Sorry, I apologize.
If you let me finish
for
once.
I apologize. Go ahead.
Most people, and I'm not saying you have to be like most people, but most people who are not doing anything wrong will be like, you know what, officer? I'm on my lunch break. This is my day. Everything's cool. You know what I'm saying? And not pull the whole.
I don't answer questions.
And
I play the fifth.
And make it more difficult than it needs to be.
I feel like I should have done that last. Look. If I feel like if I should have done that last time, it would have been different. You know, because I know I was somewhere where I'm allowed to be. Mm-hmm. So I was kicked out of a place I was allowed to be.
Okay.
You don't know if I'm not allowed. Well, not you, because you're a supervisor.
There's no one here to verify that you can.
But let me finish.
And again, you didn't provide that information.
But you don't know this.
Looking at
you don't know against it, or you don't know in favor. I'm not saying to be in favor of me, but I'm not saying. But I don't.
That's why we get out. So
I have to go, bro. I thank you for your time.
Understand the whole reasonable suspicion thing.
I do.
That's why we would get out.
You're supposed
investigate to be like, okay, this dude's telling the truth. We're gone. Okay.
Now, but
this dude's not telling the truth, and he's not supposed to be here, this and that.
Do I not have the right to not help y'all? Am I supposed to help you with the investigation against me?
If you're doing nothing wrong, then what are you worried about? That's my question.
Because he started fishing.
Okay.
Once people start fishing, I let them fish. Let them fish.
What are we calling fishing? Asking you for your ID.
Asking questions.
Of why you're
of information that you shouldn't be asking for.
Okay, so
if you pull me for
one of those questions.
If you pull, I can't give you so much, right? But if you pull me for something if you pull me over for something for an infraction, I'll give you whatever you want. But if I'm just somewhere where you think, let me finish. Where you think that I don't know them, that they don't know me, that I have nothing to do with them, you're making it look that I'm doing something wrong when I'm not.
Let me tell you something.
But I have to go, bro. I would love to stay here I would love to record you a whole day.
You like doing this, and it's cool, man. I get it. Like, I'm not, it is what it is.
During their exchange, Mr. Escoto tried to explain to Officer James that he was being detained without cause. But instead of addressing these concerns, Officer James appeared to mock him, sticking to his unwavering show of authority, and repeatedly labeling Mr. Escoto's arguments as irrational. His manner of dealing with the situation, dismissive, smirking, and implicitly coercive, suggested disregard for the fair treatment that the public expects from law enforcement. Hear what else he had to say after this.
No, I've parked here before.
Not on their front line. Maybe
I was not parked on the front lawn. As soon as your officer started getting my information, I decided that I couldn't pull back, so I saw a way out, right? Gotcha. If there's a way out, that means I can drive through it. Am I wrong?
Well,
that's a drive-through, right?
That's that's not a public access way.
But no. if your officer's blocking my path, right? He hasn't got out of his car. He hasn't detained me. He hasn't turned his light on. So, am I free to go at that moment?
Did he know you were in the vehicle at that time?
Yes.
When it
yes.
came out, it came out with the vehicle.
I had my window open and I had my arm out. So my question to you is, at that point, if he hasn't detained me, if he just pulls behind me, if I caught, for next time, for my, this is honest, for my information, is it best for me to stay there, get out of my car, or can I, if I see a exit, can I exit?
I would stay there. Because again,
I wasn't detained yet.
Reasonable suspicion.
But I wasn't detained yet.
If you would have drove off, so he probably would have conducted a traffic stop on you.
And that would have been perfect for me. But what reason does he have to stop me on the road?
Oh my God. Dude,
I know. We're going this. I have to go, bro.
Not for a traffic infraction, okay? There's a thing. Look it up. All right.
And he did stop me.
Look it up.
He
look up reasonable suspicion, okay?
That I have to be about to commit, committing, or coming from committing. It's like 3 past.
Yeah, about to commit.
Yeah. So I do know. I just can't explain.
You understand that we can investigate.
Yes.
Based on being able to articulate reasonable suspicion. Okay.
Yes.
We can investigate you, or a person, until that.
And that's what I told him. Investigate away.
Suspicion is dispelled.
But
but
it doesn't. We're there. But I have to. I don't have to dispel it.
Don't ID yourself.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you.
I don't care. All right.
Okay, then we're good.
I'm just saying.
We're good.
I'm just trying to give you advice for the future. Don't park on people's property, whether you think it's yours or you're supposed to be here or not. All right. And then just read up some more.
I've been reading.
Keep reading.
Today was a good day. Can you? I didn't do nothing wrong. Cop stopped. No. I'm not saying you. I'm not stating you did, but I'm saying your buddy stopped me. He detained me until I called you. That's when he's look where he's at. Not over here, because I had to call you.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
And that's the problem. If he would
detaining you when you're trying to leave, when he's trying to go out with you.
I understand that.
A quick point worth noting is that the officer who first approached Mr. Escoto initially demonstrated no overt intention of conducting a stop. He did not exit his vehicle, activate his siren, or flash his lights. He merely parked behind Mr. Escoto. Such passive behavior does not meet the legal standard for a police stop. According to established legal precedent set by the U.S. Supreme Court in Terry v. Ohio, a lawful stop requires an officer to have a reasonable suspicion that a person has committed, is committing, or is about to commit a crime. If Mr. Escoto was detained without a clear demonstration of a stop or a reasonable suspicion of criminal activity, then that detention could indeed be deemed unconstitutional and illegal under both federal law and the statutes of North Carolina.
I don't know if you were the one that were like, you still live in Higgler?
Yeah.
I'm moving, by the way.
Are you?
Yeah. I just bought a property. I was trying to buy something here in Hardyville, but everything is so expensive. It's crazy. And then with cops stopping me, just...
Listen.
I'm just messing with you. Have a good one, man.
No, we're just gonna quit.
T-Bo, thank you, bro. Thank you for respecting my rights. You know what's a beautiful thing? I lived this encounter knowing that you guys respected my rights. I respect and love more you for that fact, you know? I have to go. You should have done it. I have it on video. I'm gonna play it back.
Ultimately, Mr. Escoto chose not to lodge a formal complaint against Officer James and Tabolt. However, he did engage in a conversation with the chief of police about the incident. During this discussion, the chief assured Mr. Escoto that the officers involved would be directed to undergo a refresher course on police misconduct. As of the date of this recording, it remains unclear whether the officers were held accountable for their tyranny, but we may be able to guess whether it happened or not. Be sure to check out our previous video where we cover another outrageous police encounter